Okay, looks like that's on. And yep, that'll do it.
Don't just doot doot the microphone.
Doot doot. You don't have to do that anymore.
There we go.
There we go. Vocaroo up. Our answer forms are there.
Got 'em up.
Let me grab YouTube. And let me grab Twitch. Ah, there we go. Shake, shake, shake. Shimmy shake. No viewers yet.
I got 4.
Oh, you got 4?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Fantastic. There we are there. Oop. And there we are there. Okay, great. Yeah, I see 5 now. Wonderful. Welcome, everybody. This is Gentleman Octopus Trivia. Same it is every Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern. We're going to get right into it here by thanking the people who have supported us in the past. And if you have the means to do so, and you want to support...
the name. I'll add you to the list.
Exactly. We'll add you to the list if you have the means to do so and you want to support DIY Trivia. Hook us up at Venmo at McKinney-Sizemore or use PayPal, keysizemore at hotmail.com. We've got Cody Vest, we've got Adam Francois Watkins and Rachel Schumann. We've got Michelle Martin, Claire Fisher, and Will Gilbert. Thank you all. Gail Angeles, Stephen Glassman, and Mark Dawson. Also, thank yous go out to Jerome Verid, Adam Connor, Martin Butterick, and Kent Buxton. To Richard Mason, Lindsay Henry, Jordan Lax, Dan Fitzpatrick, and of course, Sarah Ann Rapp, partner of the Octopus, partner of mine, who has also contributed a question to round 1 tonight.
Oh, excellent.
She wrote our animal question. Excited for that. Wrote the Animagables. Exactly. Really excited to show that to everybody. We have just about 5 minutes before we get started. So let's move on to our next little thing and talk about Quick Wit. I wrote a question for them yesterday that will run tomorrow afternoon, and I hope you have a lot of fun playing it. Quick Wit, if you've never played it before, is an exciting, competitive, and free trivia app that rewards players with physical prizes. Twice throughout the day, on weekdays, you are going to get a question at a more or less random time of day. There will be 15 minutes to answer that question, and you will not get the option to have multiple choice. And be careful, because spelling counts. Now, where you don't get that advantage of having multiple choice, you get the best advantage.
The whole internet.
Of all the internet.
The whole thing.
Yes. Anything you already know or anything that you can look up, totally fair game. The question is presented in a riddle-like fashion, so you got to figure it out, and you can use your general knowledge and whatever you're able to Google to figure that out. Now, if you are the first person to answer the question correctly, you'll get whatever prize they have on offer. This morning, they had a sling puck game, and then this afternoon/evening, it was a diamond head ukulele.
Nice.
Yeah.
And there are also sometimes multi-winner games where the second and third gets a $5 Amazon gift card.
Everybody leaves a little something. Well, not everybody, but
Just 3.
Top 3.
Just 3.
Top 3. But yeah, download QuickWit if you've never played it before. It's totally free. Never have asked us for a single dime, and we've won like 50 times.
Yeah.
Also, if you happen to have it already, make sure that you have that most up-to-date version so that you can see all of the exciting things they have to offer.
And our question tomorrow.
Including our question. Yeah, that should air sometime tomorrow afternoon. Keep an eye on the Octopus Facebook page because we'll tell you once we know what you can win. So, best of luck. Hope you enjoy the question. And we're going to move on to tell you to follow Europlates. We'll be posting just a little less frequently going forward since now the Euros are in the knockout stages. And some of the dishes so far have been repeats. But we've got all kinds of other great ideas for ways to represent countries that are competing in the the UEFA Euro tournament. The ones you see there, you've got Stamp Pot in the top left corner. That was for the Netherlands. Over on the right is Montaditos and Sangria, representing Spain, both of whom are out.
Nope, Spain's in.
Oh, Spain's in. Of course, that's right.
Spain beat Croatia in extra time.
That's right, they did. One of the first extra time games today.
Yeah.
Whew, what a match day. 14 goals?
Let's see. Yeah.
14 goals.
Not counting penalties.
Mm-hmm. Then the bottom left there are Slovakian stuffed ravioli and North Macedonian ajvar sauce. It was all just delicious. I loved all those meals. That's why they're featured here. But we've been doing what we can to try to represent some of these countries and learn a little bit about some culinary traditions that maybe you don't think about a whole lot. I mean, it was hard to figure out, okay, where do we get started with North Macedonian cuisine? I don't have an earthenware pot to make, what's it called? Tevchi, I think is what it's called. It's a flashcard of mine. Let me just double check that real quick while we're hopping around on here. Hippity hopping around on here. Tavchi Gravcha. That's what it is.
Okay.
Tavchi Gravcha. All right, a couple of minutes before we get started.
So let's move on with some rules.
Darn right. T, you want to take it?
So please submit your answers using the Google form links that are provided on the event page. I'll be posting those in just a moment here. Make sure that you include your team name on each form, and please only submit each form once. Make sure that your name is spelled and stylized the same way throughout. It's a quick fix, but we'd rather not have to do it.
Absolutely.
There'll be 5 rounds of 8 questions. Your middle round will be a music round with a theme. Feel free to play individually, or you can team up over Facebook or over Google Meet, or how you choose. You can play by yourself, you can play with a team, all good stuff there. And your music round with a theme will be worth 2 points apiece. And it is the only question that will be doing so.
Yeah, the theme itself is worth 2 points. But yeah, there you go. You want to do the rest of it?
Well, I'm going to post things in the chat now.
Oh, okay, cool. So, each correct answer to a question is worth 1 point unless otherwise noted. As TJ mentioned, the music round is the only exception there, where the artist is worth 1 point, the song title is worth 1 point, and guessing the theme correctly is worth a whopping
2 points.
2 points. Let me go ahead and paste into Twitch and YouTube. Here are your answer forms.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Questions will be read once and then recapped. Following the recap, we will start a 3-minute timer, and at the end of that 3-minute timer, you will have to submit your answers. And during that timer, too, we'll go back over the slides. So
while you guys are submitting, so you get to see them a total of 3 times.
Yeah, you get to see them a total of 3 times before we reveal the answer. So if there's anything that you still need to look at again, please let us know. We'll do our best to accommodate all of those requests. There will be no final question, and a tiebreaker will only be used, kind of frog in my throat, will only be used in the event of a first place tie. So, yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That is pretty much it.
Let's go ahead and get started here with round number 1.
You want to take first?
Yeah, that's fine. Round number 1, question number 1. Holding the record for most nominations for the Nobel Prize in Literature without a win. Author Ramon Menendez-Pidal was a Spanish scholar whose work focused particularly on what 11th century Castilian knight and folk hero. Once again, holding the record for most nominations for the Nobel Prize in Literature without a win.
Holding the most L's, too.
Yeah, him and I both, man. Author Ramon Menendez-Pidal was a Spanish scholar whose work focused particularly on what 11th century Castilian knight and folk hero. That is question number 1. What's the name of that folk hero?
And question number 2. Also home to the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library. Which city gets its name from its historical status as an institution boasting stop along the Houston and Texas Central Railway? So what modern city, home to the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library, gets its name from its historical status as an institution boasting stop along the Houston and Texas Central Railway? That's question number 2. Give us the name of that modern city.
And question number 3. Despite producing Pro Bowl athletes like Vic Beasley and DeAndre Hopkins, what school's only Hall of Fame football player, thus far, is safety Brian Dawkins? Brian Dawkins is the only Hall of Fame football player for what institution that has both Pro Bowl athletes like Vic Beasley and DeAndre Hopkins? Where those 3 gentlemen go to college? That's question 3.
And question number 4. What first and last name is shared by a NASA computer scientist whose software was used in the Apollo missions, as well as an actress whose most famous role required exposure to asbestos and unpredictable pyrotechnics.
That's putting it calmly, too.
That is putting it calmly. And it doesn't say so on the slide, but first and last name is required. This is a 2-answer required question. What first and last name is shared by a NASA computer scientist whose software was used in the Apollo missions, as well as an actress whose most famous role required exposure to asbestos and unpredictable pyrotechnics? What first and last name do those women share? That is question number 4.
In question number 5, name either one of the only 2 top 10 highest grossing films from 2015 that are not sequels. Only 2 films from 2015 that cracked the top 10 are not sequels. One is from Disney Pixar, naturally, and the other was controversially labeled a musical or comedy at the Golden Globes. So name either one of the 2 non-sequel films that were the highest grossing from 2015. One is Disney Pixar film, and the other was controversially labeled a musical or comedy at the Golden Globes, much to the chagrin of a lot of people.
Of all the other nominees,
of
basically.
all the nominees, yeah.
That had to be a Fast and the Furious sequel year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Or a Hobbs and Shaw or something like that.
That is question number 5, 1 of 2.
Question number 6. This one comes to you from Sarah Ann Rapp. So thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
As I toast my owl cup, I am reminded of the fact that Sarah and I recently wrote a bird-themed friendly for Online Quiz League Pop Solos. If you're not involved with it, you definitely should be. It's a lot of fun. You get great pop culture questions. You get to play against a whole bunch of awesome players. And if you are a part of it, check it out. We really want people to play and to share their feedback. So have fun. Question number 6. The type of pheasant seen on the following redacted slide is the official bird of which landlocked country that boasts the only national flag in the world not rectangular in shape and is a partial home to the highest point on Earth above sea level? So I'm about to show you a pheasant and a partially redacted slide. The pheasant is the official bird of which landlocked country that boasts the only national flag in the world not rectangular in shape, and is also a partial home to the highest point on Earth above sea level. Look at that beautiful, beautiful bird.
Mm-hmm.
That is a beautiful pheasant.
It is colorful.
It is a certain type of pheasant and is the national bird of what landlocked country, which has the only non-rectangular flag and is a partial home to the highest point on Earth above sea level. What is that country? That's question number 6.
That is indeed. Question number 7. Throughout its modern history, what African nation has been led by only 2 monarchs, including Ngwamama?
Ingwenyama.
Sabusa II.
Yep.
The longest reigning monarch who has ever lived. So throughout its modern history, what African nation has been led by only 2 monarchs, including Ingwenyama Sabusa II, the longest reigning monarch who has ever lived. Only needed the once, and then I got there.
Ingwenyama, by the way, is the title.
Yep.
Just so people are aware. If that helps anybody.
That.
If you happen to know the name of the title of monarchs of this African nation, you deserve the points.
That's question 7.
And question number 8, our last in the round. Which ingredient is added to a croque monsieur to turn the ham and cheese sandwich into a croque madame?
And I would argue to elevate.
To elevate.
Yeah.
Yes. To heighten the sandwich. So question number 8.
Always looking to heighten my sandwiches. Put them on stilts, whole thing.
I was going to mention a different sandwich, but I don't want to give anything away.
Nope.
Question number 8. Which ingredient is added to a croque monsieur to turn the ham and cheese sandwich into a croque madame? That is question number 8. Let's hit it with the recap.
Question number 1. Holding the record for most nominations for the Nobel Prize in Literature, without a win, author Ramon Menendez Pidal was a Spanish scholar whose work focused particularly on what 11th century Castilian knight and folk hero. What was the name of that 11th century Castilian knight and folk hero? That is question number 1.
Question number 2. Also home to the George H.W. Bush Presidential Library, which city gets its name from its historical status as an institution boasting stop along the Houston and Texas Central Railway. What's the name of that modern city? That is question number 2.
And question number 3. Despite producing Pro Bowl athletes like Vic Beasley and DeAndre Hopkins, what school's only Hall of Fame football player, thus far, is safety Brian Dawkins? That was question 3.
Question number 4. First and last name required. 2 answers required on the same line. What first and last name is shared by a NASA computer scientist whose software helped Apollo astronauts get to the moon, as well as an actress whose most famous role required exposure to asbestos and unpredictable pyrotechnics? What's that first and last name? That's question number 4.
Question number 5. Name either one of the only 2 top 10 highest grossing films from 2015 that were not sequels. One is from Disney and Pixar. The other was controversially labeled a musical or comedy. Name one of 2 of the top 10 highest grossing films from 2015 that were not sequels. One from Disney Pixar, the other was controversially labeled a musical at the Golden Globes, or comedy.
I think it was labeled
It was
comedy.
much more of a comedy.
But, I mean, it's still musical or comedy.
It had
It's
the
category.
same kind of elements in
Right.
it.
Question number 6. This one again comes to you from Sarah Ann Rapp, who says, the type of pheasant seen on the following redacted slide is the official bird of which landlocked country that boasts the only national flag in the world not rectangular in shape and is also a partial home to the highest point on Earth above sea level?
There's the burb.
There's the pheasant. There's the bird with the redacted. And you just got to give us the name of the country, the landlocked country, who uses that bird in an official capacity. And why wouldn't you? It's just chef's kiss.
That's question number 6.
That is 6.
Question number 7. Throughout its modern history, what African nation has been led by only 2 monarchs, including Egmonema Sabuza II, and the longest reigning monarch who has ever lived? So what African nation is home to the longest reigning monarch who has ever lived? That's question 7.
And question number 8. Which ingredient is added to a croque monsieur to turn the ham and cheese sandwich into a croque madame? What ingredient must you add to a croque monsieur to turn it into a croque madame? That is question number 8. That is round number 1. So I'm going to pull up the countdown timer here. We are going to briefly argue about what we want you to listen to tonight. And then just go ahead and submit your answers.
I want Latin jazz.
You want Latin jazz? I mean, I'll find you Latin jazz. You want Latin jazz, but let's see what comes up, if anything, for Latin jazz. I got Latin jazz. Let's give it a shot. All right. See you soon.